Today, in a short video, I talked about guilt, and there's a longer guilt video if you look at it on my channel. But basically, the gist is this, right? If you actually did something wrong, like hurting another person physically, verbally, stealing from another person, sexually harassing them, interacting with them while you're under the influence of something, if you did these things, then it's a different story. But if you didn't do these things, you didn't do anything bad. So there's a difference between being a bad person by doing bad things versus being a neutral person by not doing bad things. Just because I don't punch people on the street doesn't make me a good person, right? It just makes me a not bad person. Just because I don't donate and volunteer at shelters, it doesn't make me a bad person. It just doesn't make me a necessarily good person. So that's the basic gist of guilt, right? But what if we actually did something wrong? Okay, even in the case that we did something wrong, guilt doesn't really help amend the situation. Of course, you can do certain things while feeling guilty to make amends for the harm that you have done, right? But guilt is not a requirement for you to make amends, which means you can amend for your wrongdoings without guilt, and in fact, it will actually help you make amends. Why? Because guilt tends to be a crippling kind of a feeling. It tends to hinder action because we are so ashamed of interacting with the people we have wronged because we hold ourselves to such a high standard. We know that we shouldn't have done these things, but we did, and now we can't escape this fact, and therefore, this kind of a feeling is likely to hinder and cripple your activities in amending the wrong. So, the nice thing, well, the not nice thing, but I don't know, the logical nicety, if I may say so, is that if you actually did something wrong, then there are laws and regulations around what the consequences should be, right? So, if you hit someone, maybe you'll spend a day in jail or something. If you stole from someone, you'll have to repay it back. So, there are societal standards in which how we handle these things. So, doing those things, basically the repercussion of our actions, is one thing. But the other important thing when you are dealing with things that you have actually done that's bad is this. We have to understand the karma of our actions and we need to accept it. So, if I punched someone, it is likely that they will want to punch me back. If I verbally harass someone, it is likely that they are going to be angry at me. But this is really the primary point of this video. What makes accepting your karma for your actions so difficult is the human tendency to be self-centered. And that means when your karma comes back at you, you will be defensive. And you will want to act upon the reciprocation of your karma, which is unfortunately likely to cause further harm, and it will incur future karma. Basically, your interest increases. So, the only way to stop karma is to not interact with it. So, you did something, your karma comes back, and what you really do is just accept it. Because you understand, yes, if I poured water, of course the ground will be wet. So just like this, of course, I inflicted physical or psychological harm to this person. So because of the human tendency to be self-centered, it is likely that they are going to be lashing out at me to protect them. I cannot be defensive again and perpetuate that cycle one more time. that kind of a deeper understanding around karma will help you overcome the guilt. Because really, guilt is not necessary.